Have you struggled in the past to set proper boundaries with men? Do you find yourself in a relationship with a guy who takes more and more and more advantage of you until finally there isn't an ounce of respect left in the relationship for you? This ends now, because on today's show, we're going to be discussing 5 boundaries you must set with men. That way you can avoid being miserable in a relationship with a man who treats you like an absolute peasant. Welcome to the Players Club. If you're paying attention to me and everyone else in the live stream, please say here present so that I know you're here present and actively participating. Welcome all you beautiful people into the show. I was a little bit late today on the road in traffic and things of that nature. I told the Discord, so you would have known if you were in the Discord. You got to join the Discord so you can get all of the up-to-date notices on what's going on in our show. Okay. So welcome all you guys. I see who we got in here. We got Scotty in here. I seen Charisse was here on time today. Got Adorable in here. Dominica is up in here. Who else we got? We got is in here. Nifasimi is in here. Chan's in the TikTok chat. And who we got over in the Utah YouTube chat? I see we got here. I see Ivy is here. I see me is here. Sonia is here. I see Alchemy is here. One of our amazing channel members. I see Style and Beauty is here, one of our amazing channel members. Is Tracy Niles here? Tracy Niles is here. I anticipated she was early today. We got Special K as well. And of course, we got Missy America holding down our YouTube chat as our one and only moderator. Welcome all you beautiful people. It's so good to see you and spend this time with you. And no technical glitches or anything today. So we doing good to start. Let me just pop up the chat here for you guys on YouTube, okay? So let's get started today. First things first, and I actually really want you guys paying attention today because boundaries are so important in a relationship. So number one, let's start with no freebies. Now, I know you guys have heard me talk about this in general, and of course, you know, when we're talking about no freebies, one of the things we'd be discussing is no free access to your Squirtle, okay? But that's a little bit more straightforward. What I really want to focus on today when we're talking about no freebies is the freebie that a lot of times when you're building with someone or you meet someone right away, a lot of guys are going to expect that you will jump head first into the relationship and begin giving him girlfriend treatment. One of the main boundaries that you need to set is that when you're building with someone and you're working on a relationship and they're meeting you and they're pursuing you and chasing after you, all that good stuff, that there is a process for you. Someone says my audio sounds lower than usual. Does it sound lower, guys? I feel like it sounds the same. One of the things that you'll notice is, let me make sure that it's it's the same. Okay. So one of the things that you'll notice when you're building a relationship with guys is sometimes they're gonna want to speed you up. Not only speed you up in general, like in terms of speeding you up to get access to you and be able to sleep with you, but they're going to want to speed you up in terms of getting you to do more and sacrifice more in this relationship, because the faster he can get you sped up and the faster he can get you giving him girlfriend treatment, the better off he is, because the less he has to do and the less committing he has to do to you in order to get you to invest into him. Okay, so you want to be setting the expectation very early on that you're not here to give away freebies. You're not here to just give away girlfriend treatment to the first guy who will show you attention. That is and will always be a mistake, because not only are you giving away your body to a guy when you're giving him freebies, but you're also giving away your mind, body, and soul to that guy. And remember what I talk to you guys about all the time in the show, and why it's so important that when you're meeting a man and when you're building with a man, that you're aware that one of the main things you want to be receiving from him is a lot of emotional investment. Because the more emotional investment someone pours into you, the more pain associated with you walking away from them. And so vice versa, you want to be very cognizant of the amount of emotional investment you put into men that at the very beginning. because those are all the things that make it very difficult for you to walk away from the relationship, especially when the guy is showing himself to be someone you're not looking for. And when I say someone you're not looking for, like the opposite of your Prince Charming, like someone who's just here to play games, like someone who's just here to sleep with you and not actually build with you. So these are the things you need to be looking out for, because if you make the mistake of giving a whole bunch of excess emotional investment into a guy, you're cooking for him, you're trying to clean for him on the first night, you're trying to do everything to show him that you're going to be the best girlfriend he can ever meet in his entire life. While, yeah, it sounds good in theory to prove to someone you're the best girlfriend ever, what also ends up happening as you pour into him, and remember at the beginning, this is a stranger, this is a stranger, this is a stranger, this is a stranger. And as you're pouring into this stranger that you don't know, and that you can't verify why they're even really there in the first place, as time goes on and you begin to realize that he's not what you're looking for, maybe the relationship becomes a little bit toxic, maybe he starts disrespecting you, maybe he starts talking to you crazy and all that other stuff, you then begin to realize, oh, actually, you're not who I'm looking for. And actually, you're not the type of guy I would want to be in a relationship with. But in the process of you realizing that, you also say to yourself, but I have invested a lot in you. And I have spent all this time with you, and I have spent all this energy on you, and I have done everything to change myself and adjust myself and make sure that I am who you want me to be. It's a lot of emotional investment that you're putting into the guy. So you know what that does to you? That makes it so much harder to walk away from a relationship with a guy or a situationship with a guy that is showing himself to be not what you're looking for, because you're giving away a lot of freebies. We actually talked a little bit about this yesterday, and the analogy that we talked about in giving away free money. It's not just giving your Squirtle away for free, but it's also giving that girlfriend treatment away for free. And we talked about it yesterday, what guys will do to you and do with you when they can categorize you as someone who's willing to give away a lot of quote unquote free money, a lot of free emotional investment without someone investing back into them. Guys realize that. They say, perfect, it's so good that you're willing to give me a freebie, so good that you're willing to give me time, energy, and focus without me doing anything for you. I love that. I appreciate that. I'm not going to do that for you in return. Don't get silly now. But I will continue receiving that and continue taking that from you as much as I can in as large quantities as I possibly can. And eventually you're going to be sucked dry because all of the, not in a good way, you're going to be sucked dry because all of the emotional investment that you've put into me makes it hard for you to leave me and makes it hard for you to walk away with me. I recognize that it's harder for you to walk away with me from me, so I continue to treat you like trash in increasing amounts, because I know every time I treat you like trash, as each day passes, your investment grows more and more and more, and you feel bad about walking away from this because you're like, oh, I've wasted all this time. I might as well stay and deal with it all. But you know, I spent all this time on him and spent all this energy on him, and I cooked him dinner and I did this and I did backflips and front flips. So you start thinking, because you've already done that you need to stay in that. Okay? Guys, can you tell I'm thirsty today? Wow. So you want to be making sure, don't give away emotional freebies. Don't give away physical freebies. Now, here is where we have to have a little bit of a conversation. I want you to never forget that the people who are trying to, listen to me very carefully. I really mean this. Listen to this part. Never forget that the people in your life, and the men specifically in your life, that are trying to take advantage of you will always have a problem when you pace yourself, right? When you're patient, when you take your time to analyze situations, and when you don't just jump headfirst into things. I'm going to say that again. People, and specifically men in your life that are trying to take advantage of you, that's why they're there to take advantage of you. They will always be upset and react negatively to you taking your time, pacing yourself, setting boundaries, and waiting to analyze situations before you make any irrational decisions. Why? Because if I'm trying to take advantage of you, if I'm trying to get or extract something from you very quickly and very easily, I do not want you sitting around and analyzing a situation. I do not want you taking your time to really get to know me or meet me or understand me or grow with me, because as you continue analyzing, as you continue understanding, you're going to come to the eventual realization that I'm not who you're looking for. Remember, it's supposed to be a secret. You're supposed to give me girlfriend treatment and spread your legs wide open and let me jackrabbit myself inside of you for 90 seconds or less so that I can get this access to you before you even realize that it's a thing, before you even realize that I'm not who you're looking for, before you even realize that it's all a sham. Okay? So never forget, the moment you're going to try to set boundaries like this and you're saying to a guy who's dating you, hey, why aren't you showing me as much attention as I'm showing you? Why aren't you trying to give me girlfriend treatment? Why aren't you asking me out on dates? Why aren't you taking me out? Why aren't you letting me be a passenger princess and giving me some princess treatment? Why aren't you organizing and planning the dates? Why aren't you going out and doing all this nice stuff for me? Why aren't you buying me gifts? And all this stuff. I don't feel like you like me. I don't feel like you're really here seriously or invested in this relationship. I feel like you need to prove to me that you're really invested in this relationship. I think you need to prove to me how much you really like me. Let me know in the chat if you've ever been in a situation with a guy who tells you that essentially you need to prove to him that you really are here for real and you really want this relationship for real. And that the only way you're going to be able to prove it to him is if you begin doing more for him. So what do you think? Well, gee, I like you and I don't want to make the mistake, right? You start getting into anxiety mode and a fear state because you start thinking, well, gee, I really don't want the guy that I like to start thinking that I don't like him. So I'm going to make sure that I look at my clock and I look at the calendar and I ask him every single day whether or not he's free, if he's free and if he wants to go out and if he wants to do this, because I got to make sure I stay on top of it and I got to make sure he stays on top of me and he's allowed to jackrabbit himself inside of me whenever he wants. And I can do all the work in the relationship and make sure everything is going well and keep everything up and keep juggling this. I'll be the boyfriend and the girlfriend and the side friend and the side chick. And you get tricked into giving away a lot of freebies because you think that you're proving to the guy that doesn't even like you and doesn't even want to be with you and is trying to take advantage of you. You think that you're proving to him how badly you want this relationship because of how much freebies you're willing to give away so that he can get access to you and feel like you really care. It's a trick. And like I said earlier, never, ever forget, the people who are trying to take advantage of you will always want you to believe in the idea. Giving away freebies early on makes it look like you really care. And if you're pacing yourself, analyzing a situation and really being patient getting to know him, that's not real love. That's not true love. That's not love at first sight, right? Beautiful thing that men made up for you, right? For you to believe in, right? And write these stories about love at first sight that you as a little girl, you watch and you start to believe them in your heart that it's real, right? You believe that your Disney princess movie is real. It benefits men so much. Now, I'm not saying that's some big conspiracy, but I just want you to understand it really does benefit the men because when they get you to believe in the idea that, hey, I just laid my eyes on you, never met you, never had a conversation with you, never even spoke to you or have a look of understanding of where you're from or who you are. But the moment I laid my eyes on you, I knew everything that I needed to know about you. And what is that exactly? That your dump truck is huge? That your yiddies are voluptuous? That your waist is small? That your smile is beautiful? What exactly could you really know about me simply internally? In my heart and in my spirit, simply by laying your eyes on me. When you think about it logically, see, people trying to take advantage of you and, cross your boundaries and overstep them will never want you to think logically because that's not going to make sense. When you think about it logically, it doesn't make any sense to be able to know someone's heart and someone's spirit simply by seeing them. Now, you can say I was really horned up when I saw you. When I saw that dump truck, oh boy, I couldn't get enough. I just wanted to smell you. I wanted to smell your pants, okay? Right? He can say that, and that actually is real, and that makes sense. But he can't say, oh, I fell in love with you with the moment I laid my eyes. That's not real, okay? But men who are trying to take advantage of you and want to overstep boundaries will love for you to believe in that idea. Okay. I see some people saying that they can't see comments. I mean, from my end, I can see comments, and let me know on TikTok for the rest of you if you guys can see like the chat's comments. I'm talking about the TikTok comments. Okay. That'll be weird if you can't. Oh boy, I'm thirsty today. I might finish this whole bottle. Okay. Does that make sense to you guys so far? Okay. I want to make sure you guys are understanding no freebies. No matter how much guys are going to want you to believe in that, or believe that you're doing something by having a whole bunch of freebies, right? Don't ever believe in that idea. Freebies do nothing. And remember, the most attractive version of you, I know it sounds silly, and I know it sounds dumb, and I know it sounds lazy, but when you do nothing, you allow the men to do what they are meant to be doing, which is pursuing you like they would when they're meeting you and trying to build a relationship with you, okay? Right? That's their job. And you want to allow them to do their job by doing nothing, not by trying to be the boyfriend and the girlfriend. You'll only have a guy who starts to do nothing himself so that you can take over his job. We don't want that for you. Okay? So, number one was no freebies. Number two is time is money. So, here's the thing that you really want guys to understand. A lot of times you're going to hear from people, hey, it's the man's job to be intentional about the relationship. It's the man's job to lead in the relationship. It's the man's job to do this, to do that, whatever. Here's the thing that you need to remember though. While yes, it is the man's job to pursue you and push the relationship forward and be intentional with you and all that good stuff, you never want to forget that you are not sitting back idly and allowing men to dictate whether or not they treat you well in the relationship, and you just go along with whatever it is that they choose to give you that day. What you need to start doing, right? And this is the boundary specifically that I want you to set. You need to have men understand that time is money, meaning that your time is very valuable to you. You do not sit around idly, just sitting back, relaxing, chilling, having these fake friendships where, hey, we're not looking for anything serious, so we just want to have fun with each other and we just want to relax with each other and we don't want to take things too seriously, so we're not going to worry about down the road in our relationship in the future. We're just going to focus on what are things like right now, and if we're having fun and if we're enjoying yourself. Do not ever forget your time is so valuable. And if you allow men to come into your life thinking that you don't take your time seriously, they will waste it. Waste it away. I'll give you an example of what happens when you don't set the boundary that time is money. And this example actually perfectly aligns with a lot of stuff that we hear in the Discord, okay? So this is not a diss to people who send in this type of story. An example of not showing a man that your time is money and him taking advantage of that is this. Let's say, for the sake of example, you just got out of a relationship recently. Let's say you just broke up with someone and it's only been like a couple months since you broke up with that person. And so you're not really that emotionally ready to start dating new people because you're still kind of not over the past relationship. But rather than actually sitting your butt down and working on yourself, journaling, doing some inner work so that you can heal and get better from the situation, instead, you say to yourself, I want to focus my excess time and energy on a new guy, because the new guy that I can focus my time and energy on will make it easier for me to forget about the old guy and not be in so much pain thinking about all the things that transpired in my previous relationship. So you want to know what you do, right? Because you don't value your time seriously, and you don't think that time is money. What you do is you pick up, like Ash K just said, you pick up a distractor in your life, and you allow a man into your life that you know you don't really want anything from and might not even show qualities in a husband or in a boyfriend that you would even want to be with long term. But what do you say to yourself? You say this, well, I'm not looking for anything serious, so I just told him that or communicated that to him, and he was cool with that, so we just did a thing where we didn't really take anything that seriously. And then you want to know what happens after you show a guy, and that's in your life now, that you don't really take your time very seriously. He says, oh, Guys, fellas, shh. I stumbled across a gold mine, a girl I can access who is foolish enough to think that because she's not ready to do anything serious now, she'll just mess with me casually, thinking that she's doing something because she's not ready to actually like move forward in her life, and she doesn't want to spend that time invested in herself. Guys, I stumbled across a gold mine. I can extract, and she actually fools herself into thinking that the best use of her time is to waste it on me. Oh my God. Oh my God, I'm gonna cry. And the guys, they go home and they cry tears of joy because they realize you have literally played yourself. It's so amazing to them because they don't even have to be the bad guy. They don't even have to be the one pretending. It's so exhausting for them to pretend and keep up with all the lies and, try to trick you into realizing that he's the one, only to realize that he's not the one. It's exhausting for them. So when they come across you and you've convinced yourself that, oh, it's not that serious, we can just do a whatever thing because who cares? We don't need to be taking everything that seriously. He says, oh boy, this is so amazing. How can I get this forever? What did I do to the universe to deserve this? Because now I don't even have to play the bad guy. I just get to sit back, relax, extract, pleasure, nut, bust, nut stains all over my pants, nut stains all over her back. I can disrespect her, talk to whoever I want, date whoever I want, and I still get access to her. And she's convinced herself that that's the right thing to do. What have I done to deserve this? It's amazing. It's amazing. And I really mean that though, because what ends up happening is down the line in the relationship, after you establish that, you end up a lot of times as you become, either you end up breaking up, right? Or you end up enjoying yourself so much in that relationship, or sorry, we'll say in that situationship with that person that you're not taking seriously, that you end up saying to yourself, wow, you know what? I came into this thinking that I wasn't looking for anything serious, but in the process of me not looking for anything serious, I've enjoyed my time with you so much and had so much fun that now I'm actually starting to think that I'm looking for something more serious. And the men start looking around and they're like, I'm sorry, what? More what? I'm only here to be more fun. I'm only here to be more inconsistent. I'm only here to have more jackrabbiting inside of you, not more seriousness. And so when you show men that time is money, they end up saying to you, when you show men that time is not money, they end up saying to you, perfect, I will gladly waste it. And they waste it and waste it and waste it. They don't make decisions on you. They don't let you know what they expect from the relationship. They don't lead you forward in any direction. And sometimes you even aid yourself in wasting your time. And then a year down the line, so in the example that I just gave you, let's say a year down the line, because you've been saying that it's not that serious and I'm not looking for anything serious, you've now invested 1 year of your life into someone who is now telling you that, yeah, I don't actually see you as a girlfriend. And in fact, we're supposed to be just friends. And why are you upset that I found a new girl that I actually want to date? I thought we were doing a thing that wasn't that serious because we were never going to date. What happened? And you're saying to yourself, how did I get tricked? Or how did I end up in this position? It's simple. You started by allowing men to see that in your life, time is not money. That you don't take your time seriously enough, that the moment you start building with the guy, you say, okay, what am I here for? And what do I know you must be here for if you're going to have access to me? Because you have to also be thinking to yourself, if I consider my time to be money and my time is important to me, I need to quickly identify if the guy that I'm on a date with, not the guy that's invested in me, because you don't know if he's invested in you. You need to understand if the guy I'm on a date with is even here to be serious and intentional about this relationship. If he's not here to be serious and intentional about this relationship, let me not even waste my time. And actually, I should have called this stop pooping time, because this is one of the major mistakes that a lot of you make, because you don't go into your relationships or your talking stages with the intention of understanding that my time is so valuable and the men will gladly waste my time if I give them the opportunity to. Please, please, if you take one thing away from today, take this. Men in your life will be happy, a smile on their face, ear to freaking ear, if they realize that you have no problem with allowing your time to waste away. It is not their job to tell you that they're wasting your time. It's also not their job to say, hey, I just want you to know I'm only here to waste your time, and you should just know that up front. They are purposely going to try to hide that from you, skirt around that, make you unaware of that, until you stand up for yourself and say, I'm wasting my time here and I need to walk away from this. Men will continue to waste your time. Why? Because it benefits them. Please, please don't forget that. And I just need that to be something that you soak in, you understand, and you start to begin to work on to make a change. Don't expect men to come into your life ready to not waste your time. In fact, a lot of men, I don't want to make you sad, but a lot of men will come into your life to waste your time. You're the only one that loses, though, when he wastes your time. You need to be more self-aware and aware in general when men are coming into your life to waste your time, which is why we have the Players Club, so you can get very good at understanding men and understanding how they operate and approach relationships, so that you can quickly identify in guys that you're dating whether they're coming into your life to waste your time or whether they're coming into your life to build something with you. Because it can only be one of the two. And guys will like to put you in limbo so that you're constantly confused on which one it is. And the longer they can have you in limbo, the longer you don't get an answer, the more time you waste. Right? Does that make sense? Token says, Tomisin putting us in our logical era. I hope so, right? And I want to explain to you a lot of that logic. So by the time you sit on that date, you feel so well equipped to understand and absorb men for what they're saying, how they think, how they operate, and you no longer have to play the guessing game. That's why we call it the Players Club. So you can understand the mind of the players, and you don't have to play the guessing game of being like, but I don't get, why did he do this? And why did he act like this? And why did he do this instead of this? But he said this and he didn't do that. But he didn't do this and then he said that. And I'm so confused, Tomisin, what do I do? And that's why we're here and talking basically damn near every day, 5 days a week, right? So that you can get a better understanding of that. And when you go out on those dates, you have that knowledge and you're no longer operating from a confused state. You're operating from a clarity state, and you understand, as soon as I see this, as soon as I hear this, as soon as you start approaching it like this, I already know what's going on. I've been in the Players Club too long, and I've seen too many stories, which is why we have the Discord as well, so that as you're hearing me talk, you can also see stories and see a lot of reoccurring themes. Okay? Because I'm sure in the process of the Discord time, for some of you who are new, you have no idea. Don't worry, you'll find out, right? You start to understand, oh, I see a pattern here. I see a pattern of behavior that guys will go down whenever they're prepared to waste time, whenever they're prepared to not treat you right, whenever they're prepared to just do whatever they want that's not in line with building a relationship. And you'll start to be able to better understand how they operate and how they approach stuff. Does that make sense? Right? Lida says, but does a guy already know at the first date if he wants a relationship? I will say this, right? Because the answer is a bit nuanced. I will say yes and no. See, when men come into the first date, they might know that they're open to getting to know you and learn you to find out if you're also the partner that they want to be with. Now, that doesn't mean they won't be intentional in the process of getting to know you. But it doesn't mean that they come on the first date already deciding to themselves, I want this to be my wife, right? They also, the mature men are also going to have a process of growing and learning you and understanding you and figuring out based on what you require and what he requires, if you guys have personalities that can mesh and work well together. So it's a learning process for both parties. So they're still going to come in intentional with the intention, specific intention of learning you, specifically you, and growing with you in their understanding of you. However, they're not going to come in right away already knowing, hey, as soon as I met you, I knew I wanted you to be my wife. That's impossible. There has to be a process there, which is why I always like to remind you guys of the process so you can never forget that mature men will still be intentional with you, but they'll pace themselves and be patient in growing their relationship with you. They're not going to be expecting to date you, and the first night that they say they want to date you or they like you, that they should earn the right to sleeping with you because they said they like you and they took you on one nice date so far, right? Because that's the thing that immature men will do. Okay, right? So number one was no freebies. Number two is that time is indeed money. And number three is actually where I want you all to stop pooping. So if you're in the toilet, stop your pooping, snip it off, let it down the drain. No more pooping, no more droplets. Take your hand out of your pants, pay attention, do me, and focus on me. Because I really mean this part. You need to learn, number three, you need to learn how to be a drill sergeant. Are you following me? And it's not a joke. It's not a joke. Why? And I really mean that. You need to understand how to be a drill sergeant because men, like I always tell you guys, men are going to come into your life and test you. It's not an accident. It's not a sometimes thing. They will always come into your life and test you. They want to test to see if you're if you're someone that can be emotionally broken, if they can take advantage of you or get you to do something that you said you weren't going to do. Right? They want to understand how they're going to categorize you. So they test you to see what you're willing to deal with or not willing to deal with. You need to be a drill sergeant, especially at the beginning, because you're going to be setting the foundation for everything else in the relationship. It makes me so mad. It's part of the reason why I tell you guys to be so hyper-focused on setting very clear and hard boundaries at the very beginning of the relationship. Because as time goes on, remember, I told you it's a process of learning each other. He begins to learn, he can act up. He can do this. He can do that. There's no consequences. He can do whatever he wants. He can go out, come back whenever he wants. He can message you however he wants. He can be inconsistent. He can disappear. He can disrespect you. Whatever he feels like doing, he can do it that day if he feels like doing it because there's no consequences, okay? A bad dog doesn't become a bad dog overnight. A bad dog becomes a bad dog over the course of time in being allowed to do whatever the dog wants to do. Same thing with a bad child. A bad child doesn't just wake up out of bed saying, I want to be a bad, horrible child. A bad child understands over the course of time, I do something small, no consequences. I do something a little bit bigger, no consequences. I do something medium-sized, no consequences. I do something huge, no consequences. So I'm just going to continue living my life and, doing whatever I want because I know my parent won't punish me. My parent won't scold me. My parent won't put me in my place. So I will never have to worry about any consequences to my actions. So I continue to act out and act out and act out. So when I talk about being a drill sergeant, you need to have men come into your life, step into your life from the very beginning, understanding that you either meet me where I expect you to be if you're going to be my partner, or you don't meet me at all. You only have two options. Only two. You can either show up how I expect you to show up as a man that's going to get access to me, or if you don't want to do that, if that's too much work for you, you can F off and go somewhere else and go be with someone else that will allow you to do whatever you want. Why must you do that as a woman, especially at the very beginning? Because men sit back and they say, oh, my apologies. I thought you were one of those other girls that will let everything slide and let me do whatever I want because you like me. I I didn't realize I wasn't familiar with your game. And so I apologize for approaching you inappropriately. I am well aware now you are not McDonald's, as we talk about in the analogy. You are a 5-star restaurant. If I want to come to your establishment, I better be dressed up. I better have a lot of good money. I better be ready to set a reservation and be paying attention and be there on time. Because with all these other girls that are like McDonald's, I can come to their establishment whenever they want, whenever I want. I can come with coins. I don't have to book a reservation. I can get something from the dollar menu. It's cheap, it's easy, it's fast, it's quick, and it'll be there for me whenever I need it. But when men recognize that you're a drill sergeant, and when they recognize specifically that you're not willing to allow them to be in your life if they're not showing up for your expectations of them, they realize, oh, I really can't mess around with her. I really actually have to do the things that she requires of a man, or I just don't get access to her. And see, here's the thing also, when you become a drill sergeant, and I know that this sounds horrible, but when you become a drill sergeant, you see, men start to say, oh, I actually respect you and like you more because you're a drill sergeant, right? And I know that this sounds weird, but I can assure you, the moment you start going about your relationships and demanding respect, you're going to come across some men in your life that are like, actually, part of the reason I like you is because you demand respect. Part of the reason I like you is because you stand on business. Part of the reason I like you is because you're very clear and concise with what you expect of me, and you don't fold on that. You see, I know that it sounds strange because you're thinking in your mind for the longest time since you've been a child, you're thinking, but if I let people do more, if I let them get away with more, if I'm more easygoing and I'm more quiet and docile, they'll like me more because it's not as big a deal to be around me or be with me. It's not complicated. They don't have to think about anything. They don't have to worry about anything. They can just be with me. But in reality, the men actually despise you for having no boundaries. They despise you for not being a drill sergeant. They despise you for allowing them to walk all over you. And they're actually disgusted with the fact that they get to do whatever they want whenever they want. They're disgusted with you because they see you as someone less than. That how can you have such little respect for yourself that you allow me to walk all over you, do whatever I want to you, and you can't even stand up for yourself? I really mean that. Okay, I seen someone say, Rosie said, really, I thought men like peace. See, that's the mistake. That's the mistake. And that's where a lot of you guys get confused because you think that peace means I should shut up and never say anything, never address anything, and never have any boundaries, that he can do whatever he wants. That is not peace that men are referring to. Okay? That's not the peace that men are referring to. The peace that men are referring to is the peace of being in a relationship and growing with someone that is on the same wavelength as you, on the same frequency as you, that understands you, that knows how to be consistent with you and take care of you, right? There's peace in understanding that you're with someone that you can trust emotionally, right? That you can fall back on, that really has your back. That's the type of inner peace you feel when you feel like you're with the right person, that you really feel like has your back and that you can trust. That is the real peace. The peace that they're referring to is not, I want you to shut up and never say anything, okay? Mature men realize that you're meant to have feelings and you're meant to have emotions and you're meant to have things that you stand on and that are important to you. They also realize that when they come to you and they ask of you your hand in marriage at some point, or they ask of you simply at the beginning access to you emotionally and physically, that you then are supposed to be the one dictating what are the rules and circumstances under which he can get access to me. They understand that and they expect that from you. So when they come to you asking to court you and asking to go out with you and asking to spend time with you, and then in return, you set him no boundaries and no standards and you allow him to walk all over you, he's like, wait, but I'm here to receive and to get something from you. I'm asking something of you and you have no standards? How can I ensure that me being with you is even a quality position? The analogy that I'll give you guys is, imagine if you were applying for a job and there was no qualifications for the job. And when you interviewed for the job, you were like, on the job description, I didn't see any qualifications. And they're like, yeah, because you don't need any skills to be at this job. And you're kind of like, wait, what? No, yeah, you don't need to know anything. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to understand anything. Anyone can apply for this job. So what are you going to start thinking? Must not be that good of a job. Must not be that good of benefits. Must not have good of pay. Because naturally, why would a job have no requirements for anyone who applies? That means that anyone can apply, right? Anyone can come in. And someone said, Tamika said, definitely seen jobs with low qualifications, usually a scam. I wonder why. Because if I'm offering you a job with great benefits, with lots of pay, with lots of vacation time, that works in a nice office building with AC, and you get to work from home sometimes, and you get a special laptop, and you get a special username, and there's a gym, and there's a pool, and all this other stuff you get access to by getting this job, well, by golly me, that job description is going to have a lot of qualifications. You're going to have a lot of experience. You're going to have a lot of understanding and knowledge about the field and what goes on, and you're going to have to be really charismatic and good in that interview. Why? Because the job comes with a lot of benefits and everyone wants that job. So men naturally think of it the same way. When they're applying to your job, when they're coming to you to date you, when they're asking for your hand, when they're asking for access to you, they expect there to be a lot of qualifications if the job is really good and the job is really lucrative. They expect there to be boundaries. They expect to not be able to do whatever they want whenever they want. That's what they expect of a high-paying, really good job. And in this case, of a really high-value woman. They expect there to be a lot of boundaries and a lot of standards. Because if anyone got access, then everyone would have access. And it doesn't work if you're high value and everyone has access. Right? Nikki says, and if it's a good job, they will drop you the moment you don't meet their expectations. Precisely. Nikki, you're so smart. Precisely. Right? And that's why I talk about being a drill sergeant in the fact that you have boundaries in terms of, and when I say, so let me give you an even more specific example of what I mean when I say live up to my expectations. So let's say for the sake of example, in your set of expectations for a guy, you expect him to be consistent in his communication with you and to be, making sure that you guys are going out and spending good quality time together. Let's just say for the sake of argument, that is one of the expectations you expect a man to live up to. And in the process of that, let's say one day you guys are supposed to be planning a date. You go out to the restaurant that you guys are supposed to be planning a date at. And when you get to the restaurant, he stands you up. You're looking at your phone, you're looking for a text message, you're looking for a phone call, and he just never shows up to the date. And so you go back home disappointed that he stood you up and he hasn't even given you an excuse why he didn't show up on the date. And he doesn't message you until the day after about the date and what went on and why he couldn't make that date. You then say to him, your opportunity to show me that you are serious about this relationship has passed. That ship has sailed. If you wanted to show me that you were serious about this relationship, you would have either shown up to the date or you would have communicated to me that you weren't going to be able to show up to the date on time like an adult. And in the process of communicating to me, I would have not been sitting there for 2 hours like a complete idiot. Right? And this is the thing. Being a drill sergeant is never going to feel good. It's going to feel like you're really hard on people. It's going to feel like, you're not giving people an opportunity or a chance. But the reality of it is someone who is truthfully invested in you and truthfully actually wants to build with you will have no problem with you being a drill sergeant. Because as your expectations are and as they want to be with you, they will meet those expectations because they want to be with you. Please, please never forget that. Please never forget that. Do not feel bad about setting boundaries. Do not feel bad about being a drill sergeant, and do not feel bad about having a unique set of expectations that you want from a man, and especially that you want from a man in the way that he treats you, that you feel like, oh, if I express my expectations and I'm so hard on my expectations, then no guys will like me. No, there will be a guy that likes you and there will be a guy that does that. That might not be this guy. And that might not be every guy, but I can assure you, you don't need to be in a relationship with every guy. You only need to be in a relationship with one guy who is going to show you the type of treatment that you expect in a relationship. Please never forget. Please never forget. Okay? Does that make sense to you guys? right? Ash K says, how do you bring up expectations? Great question. One of the best indirect ways to bring up expectations, and we talk about a lot of, manipulation tactics and understanding emotions and psychology here. See, a great way to bring up your expectations uniquely is to tell stories. Storytelling is so powerful because you don't have to put someone in fear of the possibility of doing something wrong to you by telling them, hey, if you do this, I'm going to respond like this and it's going to be so bad to you. See, a good story is just as powerful in letting someone know, hey, I better act right or I better act right. So what I want you to get real good at doing is giving people and men in your life that you're dating stories about the graveyard that is a guy who tried to come into your life on some BS timing, and the consequences for him trying you, thinking that you were someone who was going to deal with a guy who was on BS. So I'll give you an example of a story you could tell. So let's say you're talking about, the past situation that you were in. And let's say you're saying, so yeah, I was with this, talking to this guy one time, and he was always late to like our dates and late to picking me up. And I told him, I was like, look, I'm not willing to deal with this being late type of thing. You say that we're going to go out at 9 p.m. If you say we're going to go out at 9 p.m., I expect you to be here at 9 p.m. And if you're going to be late, that's fine, but there should be some communication there. And so one day when he was supposed to meet me for a date at 10 p.m., we were supposed to go to this nice restaurant. He ended up showing up at 11 p.m. Didn't say anything, didn't text me, didn't message, no heads up. He just showed up at 11 p.m. like everything was all good. And he was like, I'm on my way now, and I'm outside when he was outside. He shows up at 11 p.m. You want to know what I did? I stayed my butt in the house. I got undressed and I sat in my bed and I didn't even message him back. He started calling me vigorously. He started messaging me vigorously. Where are you? What are you doing? We're supposed to be going out to the restaurant. We're supposed to be doing this. We're supposed to be doing that. And I never spoke to him again. He's going to be like, damn. But why was he late at 11 p.m.? Oh, he said that he was doing like a work thing. Damn. So just because he had a work thing? Yeah, but like an adult, you can send a message if you're doing a work thing. Just tell me, no, you're doing a work thing. I don't think that it's that hard. So I didn't have any urge to go out with him after that. And that was it for him. He never heard from me again. He's going to be like, damn, this girl, she made bending. Oh my God. I thought I was going to come here and do a whole bunch of BS. I thought I was going to come here and mess around. And she don't deal with no type of nonsense. Maybe I should rethink all the BS I was trying to bring her on. Maybe I'll subside on that, right? And it's a great way to show men, right? Because obviously you're not showing them in the experience, but it's a great way to show them through storytelling that you mean business. And they can make the inference that, if that happened to that past guy and he's no longer with you and no longer has access to you, let me make sure that I don't do that thing and I avoid doing that thing so that I don't upset you and end up in the same graveyard as those men, right? Great way to let people know what your expectations are and what you're willing to deal with and what you're not willing to deal with. So remember storytelling, and you should have your couple of stories in your bag of real experiences that you've had with whether it be partners or just guys you were casually talking to, and make sure you tell that story in a way that it makes it sound like a horror story, right? And when it sounds like a horror story, he'll be thinking, I probably want to avoid that one. Right? I probably want to avoid that one, right? Ebony says, when's a good time to bring it up? Bring it up from the very first date. Keep your stories in your bag and continue bringing them up as the dates go on. Use that as some of your talking points when he asked of you to share. Have your stories in your bag and ready to go that you're going to tell him, knowing that you're strategically giving him horror stories to fear in the future if he ever thinks that he's going to do that to you, okay? So number 1 is no freebies. Number 2, time is money. Number 3, to be a drill sergeant. Okay. And number 4, and I actually really want you guys to take credence to this because a lot of you make this mistake. Okay. A lot of you. Number 4 is that you need to let men know from the very beginning, you're not special. You're not special. I don't care if I like you. I don't care if I love you. I don't care if you got a six-pack. I don't care if you got $1 million. I don't care if you got $1. You are not special. What I mean by that, I want to be very specific. You are not so special that you can do whatever you want in this relationship and get away with it and just apologize for it and everything is good and all is forgiven. If you do something to me, if you disrespect me, if you cross a boundary, if you go too far, you will not be able to just come back and be like, all should be forgiven because I'm the person that you love or the person that you like. I know this is more of a general boundary, but you need to make people aware that there will and forevermore be consequences to your actions. If you make the grave mistake of disrespecting me, there will be consequences. I don't care if I like you. I don't care if I love you. I don't care if we sleep together. I don't care if you jackrabbit yourself inside of me. I don't care if you got a great D, a long D, a thick D, a whatever D. You get treated the same when you mess up as other people in my life who mess up. Do not think that you are going to receive special, unique treatment from me because you're the guy that I like, because you're handsome, because you're charismatic, or whatever it may be. I know that when I say this, you're thinking, Tomisin, you're telling me to be such a meanie pants. I don't feel like guys will like me if I'm such a meanie pants. I assure you, the guys will be falling all over themselves to be with you despite you being such a meanie pants, okay? Because when you treat guys like they're not special, they feel it's necessary to prove to you how special they are. And you know what happens when a man is trying to prove to you how special he is? He tries to do everything under the sun for you and in this relationship so that he can be what you want. You want to know what happens when you treat a man like he's the best thing since sliced bread? He don't do a damn thing for you. He sit on his butt, lazy, unmotivated to put his best foot forward in the relationship because it doesn't matter. You've already made him aware of the fact that he has nowhere to go but down. He's already the best thing since sliced bread. How can he possibly do anything more to make you like him more when he's already special? Do not let men think that they can walk into your life and become special to you because they're the guy that you're seeing or the guy that you're dating. Treat everyone the same. And I want you to make him aware when he's facing consequences, not because I don't like you, but I treat everyone the same. It's a great boundary to set, right? And especially if you can couple that with showing him that you treat everyone the same. So if you don't take disrespect from him, you can't take disrespect from your friends, can't take disrespect from your coworkers. If you cut people off that don't show up for you how you expect, you got to do the same thing in your friendships as well. And it's a great way to let him see that and see you doing that or see you approaching situations like that so he can also be shown you actually mean that. Everyone actually does get treated the same. And he can have in his mind, okay, so if I do something wrong, I should expect punishment for it. I shouldn't be upset about that. I shouldn't try to pretend like that shouldn't be a thing. I know if I cross the boundary, I'm cooked. And if I cross too many boundaries, I'm cooked forever. Remember, you're not setting like I said earlier in the show, the only people that are going to have a problem with you setting boundaries are people who are trying to take advantage of you. They do not want you standing on business. They do not want you standing up for yourself. They do not want you having self-respect. They want you to allow them to walk all over you however they want, whenever they want, because it's convenient and easy for them. So they're always going to try to convince you and persuade you that you shouldn't be standing up for your own boundaries. They're going to try to make you feel like you're crazy or insane for having boundaries. There is nobody that will try to make you feel more crazy and insane for having boundaries than someone who's trying to take advantage of your boundaries. Okay? So let guys know you're not special to me. You don't get special treatment because you're a cool guy or because you got a six-pack. You get the same treatment from me, and you serve the same consequences as anyone would in this world, right? Let's use the analogy of a sentence at a hearing for a crime. They're not giving you time on the crime based on whether or not they like you, okay? The judge could be sitting there like, damn, that's such a stand-up man. That's such a nice citizen. That boy's so cute and so handsome. And I know he means well, and I know he has a good heart. So let me think about giving this unaliving charge. Instead of giving him 25 to life, let me think about giving him 5 years, because I just think that he's such a good kid and got such a good heart that probably 5 years is what he deserves instead of 25 for his conviction. No. She looks at the recommendation for the sentencing. She looks at the structure. She looks at the crime. She looks at all the facts on the paper, not the person, on the paper. And she says, the same way I would sentence anyone else in this position with this crime in this similar situation is the same way I will sentence this person right here. So you deserve a life sentence based on your situation and your circumstance. Sir, you're getting a life sentence. You can cry, you can sob, you can be sad, you can be emotional, you can kiss your mom, you can curse, you can jump over the judge's table and try to attack me. You will still get life, okay? You will still get life. You're going to die in that jail cell, sir, okay? Right? And you need to be like that. I really mean that, right? People that serve consequences for their actions will serve them whether you like them or whether you don't. Doesn't matter who you are. You're not special. Okay? I know it sounds mean. I know it doesn't sound like Disney princess love. Okay, I know. But the reality of it is you'll get Disney princess treatment when you approach your relationships like that. Okay, so let's not focus on Disney princess look-alike love, and let's focus on Disney princess type treatment, except the way that you get there is not acting like Cinderella. The way that you get there is by acting like a mean girl that's willing to tolerate less than nothing. Okay, please never forget that. Does that make sense to you guys so far? Okay, on what we're discussing. Okay? Don't let cute boys or boys with six packs or boys with a lot of money even. Some of you do that. Letting guys with money do whatever they want with you because they have money. That doesn't mean he gets to do whatever they want with you. In fact, they respect you less because they realize that the money controls you. Okay, that's a whole nother topic for another day. No freebies, number one. Number two was time is money. Number three is that you are a drill sergeant. Number four is you're not special. And number five, and I know this might not sound like a boundary, but I promise you it is one. Number five is you want to let men know and set the boundary that my life doesn't stop because you either come into it or because you leave it. My world continues to rotate and move whether or not you're here or you're not here. Here's a very important lesson that I want you to learn. When men meet you, they have ego. They all think they're the best. When you start to tell them they're the best, they start to think to themselves, feels good, feels awesome, but I want to exercise my power. So they're going to do things like, for example, they're going to be at the club one night, drunk out of their mind, and they're going to call you up and ask if they can hang out with you at 3 a.m. after they finish at the local club listening to Glorilla. They're going to come over to your place, and when they come over to your place and they have some little chit-chat, small talk with you and sleep with you, they're going to recognize that, hey, regardless of what she's doing, regardless of if she's tired, if she's sleeping, she got to wake up early in the morning, whatever is going on in her life, if I call her and I need her, so it's at 7 p.m. Friday, if I call her and I need her, she will be there for me in a jiffy. She's like DoorDash. If I order her to my house, she will be there in 30 minutes or less. Here is the problem. If you do not properly set the boundary that, hey, buddy boy, my life is still going when you're not talking to me. My life is still going whether you're in it or not. Do not think that you stepping into my life is the most amazing thing that has ever happened to me. That if you ever need me or want me or need me to be there for you or you want to hang out with me, that I will immediately drop anything in my life to be available to you. Please, I'm begging you because I love you and I care about you. Do not let men think that you will drop everything for them. Please set the hard and fast boundary that they must plan and schedule their time ahead of time with you in order to get access to you, especially at the beginning. Please set that boundary because men will gladly take advantage of you if they recognize that you will drop everything in your life to be there for him and be available to him in whatever capacity he expects you to be available to him. They will take such crazy advantage of that. Because why not? If you're allowing yourself to basically put everything on the back burner, your entire life, all your friendships, all your relationships, all your family members, just to be with me when I need you, why would I encourage you to stop that? Why on earth would I tell you that you should stop that or stop doing that thing? It serves me, doesn't it? It makes my life good, doesn't it? It makes my life easy, doesn't it? I want to continue being able to be in a position where anytime I want to order you up, I open up my DoorDash app, I type in your name, and I order you to my doorstep, and you're here in 45 minutes or less. Make sure when you're growing with men and you're building with them, you set the boundary that in order to get access to you, it's only going to come if he plans ahead, schedules this time out in your day and in your week with you, and actually makes a plan to see you and follows through with it. And that is the only way he will get access to you. Because remember, you're setting boundaries for a reason, because you don't want to be facing a situation down the road where you're in a relationship with the guy that you're getting mistreated by because you didn't set these boundaries from the beginning. So now you've allowed the relationship to harden. Relationships are like cement, right? So in the beginning, they're moldable. You can have them take any type of shape that you want. But as time goes on, they harden in place in whatever dynamic that you have allowed to set in. And so the same way, if you allow this process to continue by letting guys access you whenever they feel like accessing you without ever having to set that boundary, they begin to say to themselves, great, this is awesome. This is the way things will be. So I'm never going to be thinking to myself, let me reach out to her and plan this date with her. I'm never going to be thinking to myself, let me schedule this block out of time in my week 3 days in advance so that I can see her. He's only ever going to be thinking of you last minute. He's only ever going to be thinking of saying, hey, I want to see you right now in this second. And if I can't see you right now in the second, you're absolutely useless to me. That's all he will think of you as. And he'll be very frustrated with you, even in a relationship with you, when you start saying, well, now I want you to schedule things. He'll be like, I wasn't here with you to schedule things. I was only here to get you when I want to get you, how I want to get you, just like DoorDash Express. Please, for me, because we're friends and I love you and I care about you, please do not be DoorDash Express priority. Don't do that. Don't do that. Start forcing men to plan and schedule their time with you in order to get that access to you. Okay? Someone says, what's the 5 boundaries? I'll repeat them, but I'm not going into detail. They're available on my YouTube. No freebies. Time is money is number 2. The drill sergeant number 3. You're not special number 4. My life don't stop number 5. Okay. For those of you who missed parts of the boundaries, don't worry. They're all available on my YouTube page there. Just type in my name on YouTube and you'll be able to find them there. Okay. If you guys are wondering what in detail of them, because honestly, the titles don't tell you the detail of it. Do you guys have any questions about the 5 that we just discussed today? Okay. Yogini says the magic question, right? What about long distance? He brings me to him often. Boundaries apply in long distance relationships as well. But before you all start thinking about how you're going to apply it to a long distance relationship, I want you to ask yourself if you're even in a long distance relationship and you don't just have a long distance pen pal, because a lot of you have long distance pen pals, meaning all you do is text message and phone call, but you don't actually see each other in person. Okay. Right. Pretty Mary says, can someone list the 5? The 5 are all available on my YouTube page. Like I said, just type in my YouTube page. It's above my head on the top right side of the screen on TikTok, which is why I'm pointing to it. And all you have to do is go on YouTube and it's available for you to rewind and rewatch right now. We don't give information in 60 seconds on this show. If you want it in 60 seconds, go listen to someone else on TikTok that'll give you information in 30 seconds. Okay. We're here to have a conversation. It's good that someone says, what did you say here? Yogini says, so it's good that we see each other often. 100%. If you're in a long distance relationship and you see someone often, that is very good. Okay. Aranda says, does apply to work too? Honestly, setting boundaries applies to every part and aspect of your life. Of course, we talk about mainly relationships here, but it's so important that you do that in every aspect of your life. I promise you guys, you never get respect unless you demand it in this world, okay? Chris Stello says, I'm scared to set those boundaries because they might pull revenge. Okay, this is what I want you guys to never forget, and I know that this makes some of you nervous when I talk about setting boundaries. Please never forget that, like I said earlier, people who want to take advantage of you will be the ones to tell you that there's a problem with you for having boundaries. The people who recognize that there's nothing wrong with having standards and expectations and they have no problem living up to those standards and expectations will meet them. And they will not punish you for having standards and boundaries. And rest assured, if someone's trying to punish you by taking revenge on you because you have standards or boundaries, that is actually a good thing for you because it quickly helps you recognize, oh, you're not even someone here to build anything. Because if you're not okay with me having standards or boundaries, you're not even mentally prepared to be in a relationship. The idea that you want everything to be your way and I shouldn't be able to have some self-respect and stand up for myself and have things that are important to me, if you aren't of the belief that that's okay, you're not even in a mental space to be able to be dating me. So you're probably better off going to find someone else that doesn't have those boundaries or expectations. Like, I want you guys to picture it, okay? Like, really picture it. How it would be like with a girl that all these men want. In fact, actually, let's head over real quick. I know that this is kind of like a little bonus part here, but let's head over real quick. Let me plug in my iPad so that you guys can really see this. I love getting on there. I know we didn't get a chance to get on the whiteboard today. Let me plug in my iPad so I can really show you guys a visual of like boundaries here and why all the hot, amazing girls, they all got boundaries, okay? Don't ever forget that, right? So let's head over into the whiteboard. Let me show you guys something. I love this whiteboard, okay? Let me show you guys something so that hopefully this visual can stick with you forever and you never forget this visual here, okay? Oops, I'm gonna get where my eraser at? So I want you guys to see why boundaries is not a problem, okay? Let's make this idea like, okay, this is a really amazing, pretty dream girl here, okay? She's smiling. She's got beautiful flowing hair here, okay? Her hair is odd. Let's pretend like that's awesome hair, right? And she's got this beautiful dress on, right? It's a pencil skirt. And she's so amazing, and every guy wants her. She's the dream girl, okay? This is her dream girl. Now, let's imagine that this dream girl is existing, and because she's so beautiful, she's so awesome, right? You're so pretty, right? And every guy wants her. So every guy that is over here, right? Let's imagine all these stick figure men. They're looking up at her. His legs all weird, right? All these men are looking up at her and thinking to themselves, right? They're all in love with her. They're all mesmerized by her. And they're all thinking, oh my God, I want you, right? They're all thinking to themselves, I really want you. I really want to be with you. I really want to get an opportunity with you, right? So they're also thinking, please give me a chance, right? They all want a chance with her. They all want a chance to be in a relationship with her, get access to her. Look at this dump truck on her, okay? Let's imagine she's got that big old dumpy, okay? That booty mesmerizing, you know what I mean? That booty take up its own area code over here, right? And she's got this big old booty and all the guys want her and all the guys want to be with her. And she says, right? You have to have money to be with me. You have to respect me, right? Any guy that's going to be with me. You have to, let's just say, treat me well, right? You can't call me names. So no name calling, right? You can't do this, right? You can't do that. You can't do this, right? You can't do that. All of these things around her that she's like, you can't do this. I got this rule. I got that rule. I got this rule. I got a whole bunch of rules. And then they say, I still want you. And I still need you. So if those are your rules, well, by golly means, I'm going to follow. Let's put a line here. Follow the rules. Because why? Because I want you. If those men, right, all these men, if they want the dream woman and the dream woman has all of these rules, don't do this, you got to have respect, you got no name calling, you got to treat me well, you got to have money, the men that want her. And they see, this is the thing. They're all here. He can see that this man wants her. He can see that that man wants her. He can see that that man. They're all aware of how many other men want her. They're all aware of what's called the competition. I didn't even put that right, okay? They're all aware of the competition that exists here between all of these men. So when that dream woman says, hey, in this competition, only the best and most powerful and most amazing can survive. They all say, I'm prepared to fight in this competition here and win. And I know I'm the best man. And all the other guys are saying, I'm the best man. And they're all saying whatever standards or expectations she has here with her big dumpy, right? And all her amazing smile and how pretty she is and how amazing she is. I'm still going to make sure that I meet all of those expectations so that I can get access to her. Because I know that if I don't meet any of those expectations, then all the other guys, right, in this group here who are also saying that I want you, they will be the ones to change themselves or adjust themselves, meet those expectations, they'll follow the rules, and they will get access to this big old dump truck. So because men recognize that all the men want you, and because they recognize that if they want you and they're going to have an opportunity with you, that they're going to have to follow the rules because all the other men who want her will gladly follow the rules, they make the choice that the only way for me to get access is to do like all the other men are going to do and follow the rules. And even more so, I have to go over the top, right? I have to go over the top. Because if I don't go over the top and I only do what everyone else is doing and I only do the bare minimum, I won't win this competition of all the other men who also want access to her. And in order for me to meet this competition, Avatar just said it here, you've got to exceed my expectations. Right? And you've got to go over the top to impress me. And this is part of the reason why I tell you all that being a dream woman, right? And the way you carry yourself is not about doing more for men. It's about sitting, having your boundaries that you know, having your expectations that you know, not folding on those things, and allowing the men to filter themselves out by deciding, am I prepared for the war and the battle that is required amongst all these other men and all this other competition to meet these expectations, follow the rules, and even go over the top to eventually get access to her? Because I know if I'm not ready to do that, some other man will have access to her and the story will be done for me. Okay? Does that make sense to you guys so far? Mimi says this is assuming that all the men want you. So that's the key here, is that as you continue to invest in yourself, and that's the irony, is that when you invest in yourself, you make yourself more of the dream woman. Because guys love the women that are investing into themselves the most. When you invest into yourself more, you become more valuable to those men, right? Because you're not worried about those men and you don't need their validation. And they begin saying, because you're so valuable to me, I want to chase after you and I want to have you because you're like the dream woman that I'm mesmerized by. And then that's when all of this comes into play. They want to follow the rules and they want to go over the top. So a function of you becoming the dream woman is not really about having a bigger dump truck. Okay. I know I just put that in the illustration, but that really doesn't matter. It's a function of how much you invest into yourself emotionally and spiritually to better yourself, and that makes you more attractive to these groups of men here. Not really you having the biggest dump truck. However, something like going to the gym will increase your dump truck size, which will make you more physically attractive, but it also subsequently is you investing into you, which makes you more attractive. So it all kind of works into each other simultaneously, where the more you invest in yourself, the more attractive you are, the less you have to do for men, the more they want to do for you, and the happier you are because you get princess treatment. Okay, so sorry about that. Does that make sense to you? I hope that visual broke it down for you guys a little bit better. All right. So with that being said, it is time. And we're going to bring the whiteboard back another day. Don't worry, we'll be back tomorrow. Do you know what time it is? I want to know in the chat if you smart, if you aware, if you know, if you're been here for a while and you know what time it is. Someone says, I don't know what time it is. What time is it in your city? What time is it in my city? That's not the type of time I'm talking about. That's not the type of time. I'm talking about a special time, a very good time, a very amazing time, a very fun time for all, and tragic time for all of us in the Discord. I'm talking about the fact that time. Yeah. Okay, guys. Let's hop into the Discord here. And I know for some of you guys, you're like, what was that? I really don't understand what was happening there. Essentially, right, what the Discord is our Players Club Discord, where all the amazing, awesome members of the Players Club get an opportunity to ask me a personal question about their relationship or their situationship, and I answer it live on the show. Now, there are two ways to submit your question. You can either submit it in Relationship Advice Regular, the free one, or Relationship Advice Premium. Now, let me break this down to you so you understand what's going on. Relationship Advice, the free version, you can submit your question by simply going over the link in my bio on TikTok or the link in my description on YouTube, or it's on the pinned comment there on YouTube as well. And all you do is you ask your question here in the format that it's said to be formatted. But here's the thing. And I have to be honest with you. If you ask your question today, I have like a couple hundred to get, like 100 or so to get to. And you see all these highlighted ones. These are ones that haven't been answered yet. So it's going to take me about 1 month to get to yours because I have to answer them from oldest to newest, to be fair to everyone in the free section. So just keep that in mind if you have a question for me in the free section. Now, if you're too impatient because you don't want to wait and you don't want to wait that long to get your question answered, that's perfectly fine. You have a second option to submit your question, which is our relationship advice premium. It's the same concept, except in order to get access to this, you have to first donate to the show. It's like the VIP pass at a theme park. You get to skip the line because I'll read your question first before I go to the next oldest free relationship advice question. But all you have to do to donate to the show is go over to the link in my bio on TikTok where it says premium relationship advice and you click that. Or if you're on YouTube, the link in my description where it says premium relationship advice and you click that as well, and you'll be able to get access to that. Now, for those of you who don't want your question to be public and you just want to ask me a really private relationship advice question, there's also an option for that in that same link in my bio on TikTok and in the description. I'm going to make sure to put it in the description today, where you can ask me a private relationship question and I will answer it for you via email on a voice message. Okay. It's in the link available in the pinned comment for those of you who want to ask it right now on YouTube. So you have all different types of options. Okay. Let's get started with our premium relationship advice question for today, which comes from Lyda, who is a reoccurring member of the show. So happy to see you again, Lyda. Lyda says, it's your little confused chick again, waiting to be teached by you. Okay, let's go on here. So Lyda says, Tommy, thank you for your big advice last time. I watched this episode 625 times. Now, a few new things happen. I believe Lyda's in the chat now, isn't she? Right? She's in the TikTok chat. A few new things happened that I wanted to explain to you. Okay, let's buckle up here. It's again your German girl trying to date German guys that are just German. What does that mean? I don't know. Anyways, you remember that guy who distanced himself after opening up that I am a virgin and then I cut him off? Yeah, I remember. Who still never removed me from social media, still watches, even started reacting to my story. This is not about the one from my very long story I sent one time, but the one of my first story. You said that I should do nothing, and I didn't, really, I promise. But he did, and I don't understand it. Let me explain. I posted a story about a very famous place in my hometown that everyone knows. I have holidays from med school. He just answered to the story later, Corban. It's a wine bar, okay? I just said maybe we'll see. So what that was supposed to be him asking you out? By replying to your story? Okay, that's weird. Later, he sent me a pic of the wine bar and asked, where are you? Huh? This ain't how they do it in Germany, is it? Please tell me this ain't German culture. That's how they do it in Germany? Are they way more straightforward in Germany? I don't know about this so far. Bro, WTF, where were you the whole time? Wait, did he actually say this? Oh, sorry, you meant to say like you're asking him, where were you the whole time? Anyways, I said that we left the wine bar 1 hour ago because I have work tomorrow morning, but I said have fun there. He then sent me a voicemail where he was, the nicest I've ever gotten, I've ever gotten to get from him. Things like, how was your evening? I wish you a very good day tomorrow at your work. Maybe we'll see each other in the next days. Well, I texted, yes, it was really fun. Thank you. And yeah, maybe. I also let him know indirectly that I will stay here at my hometown for 1 month now. Please don't have a stretch now. No, it's okay. It's okay. This isn't so bad yet. Tommy, scene, he just left this on scene. What did he want? Why do you say maybe we'll catch up in the next time and then don't initiate anything? Was I too cold, uninterested? I just answered a friendly but reserved way. He also added me to his private only Instagram stories. I didn't ask for it. WTF. Maybe you should also know that one of the girls I spent my evening with that day also shared my story. With him? He knows and follows her as well. She has a boyfriend for 4 years, but he knows her from the gym. She explained to me that one time a few years ago, he also tried to get to know her, sent her randomly pictures. Well, this girl was smarter than me and recognized she wasn't the only girl, maybe, and distanced herself from him. They are only friends now who know each other from the gym. She advised me to cut him off in my head. I will, I promise. But first, I want to understand his behavior. Should I change something? Should I even stop answering him? I think this is mean because I don't see him as a threat, to be honest. Nobody ever looks like a threat at the beginning. That's the whole point. I'm just a bit confused. It's not only the situation when I was on holidays in Turkey. He again reacted to my story where I think you meant, sorry, what are you up to? He said. I said, Turkey. He said, it looks really beautiful. Have fun with an emoji. Like, what do I want to achieve by doing all these small, like, what do you want to achieve by doing all these small checkups? Shouldn't he actually stay away from someone he messed up with, from someone he knows that is only looking for some serious things? When he behaves this way, I feel that I am not enough to fight for more. Thanks, lots of love. P.S. When I graduate my university, I will do everything for your health for free. Awesome. Thank you. So, Lida, I want to be very serious with you here. One thing that you're going to learn in the process of maturing, okay? I'm not that old, but in the process of maturing, you're going to realize some men are just weird. And I know that it's going to sound strange, but not every man grows up with the understanding of like how to approach men how to approach women and like talk to them in a way that human beings interact with each other. And I know that this sounds really strange, but some guys are so weird and so cringy that you'll actually start thinking, what are you doing? I don't even understand what you're doing here. And they're only messaging you really weird stuff over the phone because they don't know how to like interact with people in a way that's actually natural. It sounds really strange, but if you're an attractive woman, as time goes on, you'll start to meet some of these like really weird guys that just, they're so cringe that you're like, literally, I can't even stomach having a conversation with you because you're so cringe. And based on what you described, it sounds a lot like he's just one of those really cringe guys that doesn't know how to like be regular and be normal and just approach someone normally. Because like you said here, your friend who also got messages from him before, right? He sent her randomly pictures. Who does that, right? Like, this isn't even Snapchat. He would just randomly send her pictures as if like that is meant to like do something. Okay. And I know this because I've actually seen girls' messages where guys will literally message them. Like, I'm talking about guys with no profile picture on Instagram. They'll message them, hey, want a Ferrari? Hey, want me to buy you a purse? Hey, let's go out. And they've never met her, never done anything with her, don't know her from a can of paint, don't even have a profile picture up. And they'll message, let's go out. And the girls will be like, let's go out. I don't even know who you are. You're talking about let's go out. And it sounds really stupid, but some guys are so painfully unaware and so painfully not self-aware that they don't even understand that a regular human being is not going to respond to your random message about you just saying, let's go out somewhere random. And I don't even know you and I've never met you and I can't even verify that you're even a human being because you have no profile picture. Some guys don't get that because they're just, they are not able to like be regular with people and interact with people in a normal way. And so you just have to understand that the process of being an attractive woman, you're gonna get some weirdos like that. You're gonna meet some weirdos, unfortunately. And I think this is a perfect example of one of those weirdos that is literally just reaching out to you, doesn't know what he wants, doesn't know what he's expecting, doesn't have any sort of plan. And first, like, for a guy, let me make this very clear to you. For a guy to just message you out of the blue later, Gorban, as if like, yeah, let's go out to that place. I don't know you. I don't really speak to you ever. And we don't hang out, at least not of recently. And you're just randomly replying to a story saying later, let's go here. Not even really saying let's go here. He's just saying later, Gorban, as if it's the middle of a conversation. Do you see how unnatural that is? That just lets you know that the guy... Sorry, my seat here. That just lets you know that the guy you're talking to really isn't all there. Strange men, some of these men. Avoid those strange men. I know you're young, so you're confused why some men are so strange. Rest assured, don't be trying to figure out why the strange men are so strange. Just avoid them. They're weirdos, and you, like, I promise you, if he's that strange over text, he'll get even stranger in person. Okay, don't worry yourself too much about what they think or what they do. Some men are just weird, and they don't know how to interact on a natural level. Okay, I think that's all the premium questions we have for today. So we're gonna hop right into the relationship advice free section. We'll scroll all the way down here because I'm 30 days late in this chat here, and we'll start off with, I did Sandra's yesterday, so yeah, we'll start off with Magzi, who says, "Am I the fool? I'm nervous." Magzi starts off by saying, "Hey, Tomisin, I'm 20 years old." This is a nice Spider-Man picture. "I'm 21 years old. A college senior of mine told me that he really liked me. He told me that he wants to get married to me." Oh, boy. "He wants to get married to me and that I'm the only one for him." Chat, what does this sound like? He had a terrible relationship before, and he kept saying that he's not sure if he's rushing into this. And he wants to make sure that everything is right for me because I'm perfect. Chat, you smart members of the Players Club, you can already see it coming. Does this sound like a natural progression of a relationship or someone's feelings? I love being in the Discord so that you guys can realize what is an unnatural progression of things. This is not natural for someone to be saying you're perfect and he doesn't even know you. Then the interesting part is he went to this wedding where his ex happened to be there. He didn't even tell me she was coming to this wedding. I didn't know she was there until recently when I saw pictures. And for all the stuff he said about her cheating on him constantly, being abusive, and then getting engaged to another person. Wow. He and her were standing together in every single picture. This hurt me so much because he didn't even bother to tell me. And I'm the kind of person who has cut all contact with my ex, and it is because he was a terrible person who treated me horribly. Is it wrong for me to expect the same? No, it's not. You're not crazy. Especially given the circumstances. He changed his mind and said he's not actually ready for a relationship. He tried to have a whole conversation with me and say things like, if I get into this now, I'm sure I'll ruin it. I'm so miserable about whatever happened with this previous girl, and I don't know how long it'll take for me to heal. So if he was telling you that, you should have been listening to him. right? He even said that his parents need him more than me and he can't take everything at once. I respected his boundaries and suggested that I distance myself from him. Don't suggest that, just do that. He insisted, excuse me, uh, he insisted that we stay friends despite my protest to the contrary. Don't be friends. There is no friendship here. I didn't feel comfortable being friends after having this equation with him. Did you say equation? Continued in the next message. So this is the, I guess this is a screenshot. Well, I guess we'll go through the screenshot real quick. Oh boy, this is a guy dump. When guys dump like this, it usually means nothing. So I know what's right and what's wrong. I don't want to jump to the gun and end up hurting you down the line. You really don't deserve that. Who texts like this? This is a very weird way to text. It's like he's giving you a stream of consciousness without actually thinking through what he's saying. This I whenever people do this and I see this, it makes me think that they're emotionally unstable, because like when they're just messaging before they're even getting a chance to like think about what they're saying, they're just sending messages, okay? Anyways, that's a side note. And end up hurting you down the line. You really don't deserve that. I still have to talk to my parents, think about what I need to do. All my future plans will be made around you then. What? There's so much preparation. What? I just want to be sure before I commit and give my entire life to you. Because that's what you deserve. I hope you are understanding where I'm coming from. You were never an if, you'll always be the most perfect. Chad, I want you to see what love bombing looks like firsthand. I be giving y'all examples, but like I want you to see what it looks like firsthand so that you can picture this in your mind and never forget it when you're seeing it. Because what the hell is this? I just wanted to ask, do you actually like me or do you see me as just a friend? Why even bother asking? I think I already spoke to you regarding this, and I also told you that I don't want anything right now or even in the future. I can't accommodate for a relationship right now, and I don't want to jump into it either. I just want to focus on myself, and it's going to affect me and everyone else around me, including my parents, which is why I told you not to expect anything from me. I thought we had this conversation a month ago. I don't think we should speak anymore. I think whatever it was, it's over. You shouldn't have even said I think. You should have just never messaged him again. And he said, wow, man, as if that's confusing to him. Guys are really funny. Honestly, guys are really funny. This is confusing to him why you would not want to speak to him again and waste your time some more. Okay. Then you go on to say, I think whatever it is open. He said, wow, man, just wow. I can't ever understand you. This immaturity is just beyond my comprehension. Cool. You do what you want, honestly. I'm done explaining myself around to everyone. I can't take everything at once. This is exactly why I said long ago this was a conversation that was had months ago, and I made myself clear, very clear that day. And that was the 3 that you sent. Continued. But I still genuinely did feel for him. I did like him. So I decided that I did like him. So I decided that I'll be there for him. Let me take a stretch, guys. I just, it's painful every time. It's really painful every time. Oh God. In order to keep my sanity, chat, you guys know I gotta get up. I gotta stretch it out. I gotta, remind myself, namaste, remind myself everything's good, life is good, because sometimes if I don't do a good job of stretching it out and taking a second to breathe here. I'll lose my mind. I'll lose my marbles with some of these situations, because how on earth did you just finish not only telling me a story about how he said he's not ready and doesn't want anything serious, but then you proceeded to send me the exact screenshot that he said to you, where he literally said he's not looking for anything serious and he can't be in a relationship right now. And then you proceed to tell me that because you like him, you thought it would be a good idea to be there for him. Because it seemed like he's going through a very hard time. I even got him home and introduced him to my family. But as a friend, it was all going fine. There was an underlying flirty and romantic tone in the way he would talk to me. For example, good morning, good night, messages with hearts, traveling long distances on his part to meet me. This is so painful. Trying to make plans to meet my sister, calling me beautiful, cute, pretty, all the time. It was going well. For now. I was struggling with the fact that I want to be with the person who is fully committed to me. That's not a struggle. That's just a simple expectation, which you should have. And towards the end, he wouldn't reply like he did before. He seemed so off, uninterested and unbothered, not anything like the guy I met initially. Until I dared to ask if he likes me or not. Oh God. That's all. Not even anything about the relationship or anything. Just a simple question. I understand people have constraints and they're going through tough times, but admitting that he likes me is just the bare minimum. This is a really sad story. You put a crying emoji, but like, this is really sad. You think that the bare minimum is getting a guy who hasn't done anything for you and tells you he doesn't want to take this relationship seriously. You think that the bare minimum is him telling you that he likes you. That's the crumb that you're willing to settle for. Very sad. I'm in a pathetic state right now because I believed him and I actually loved him. We went on a date and spent 2 hours talking about how she did him wrong. Wow. I feel so bad. Please help me get out of this. I'm even sending screenshots so you get an idea of what he was saying to me. I've given this man 3 months and more to heal, and I've been so patient with him. Even when he sat and spoken about his ex for hours on end. He even introduced me to his sister and told me that he sees a future with me. He even said that he wants kids and all that crap with me. Then suddenly he changes his mind and decided he's not ready for a relationship with me. And where does this leave me? I've got a lot of time and energy and investment. I've given a lot of time, energy, and investment into him, assuming that he wants a relationship with me, and suddenly he decided that he doesn't want that anymore. Please help me with the situation, Tomisin. I think this is your screenshot here as well. Never let our kids be like this. Our parents would be proud. Our siblings or cousins. Indeed. He kept talking about his ex and how she was a terrible person. It makes me feel so bad. He never acknowledged the fact that I was there for him and how much I genuinely liked him. He always used to talk like he had absolutely nothing going for him in his life when I was right there standing by the dude every step of the way. I mean nothing. He kept saying he kept standing by the kept standing by the dude I was doing. He kept saying that he didn't have any friends. What am I then? What are you? Even though he came with a host of problems, I still believe that love will prevail. That's what you think this is? You think that this is love? That's okay. What am I to do now? He hates me, at least. That's what he's acting like. And I need my power back because I don't think I am at fault here. Wow, you're in for a painful answer. And in the chat, he's saying we spoke about this months ago, but after that, he was the only one who used to stay flirty and pineapple-y with things and pineapple-y things, and I don't know how to explain it. He was just giving off that vibe that he's interested in me. P.S. We hadn't had pineapples yet. Wow, thank God. We've had chats and calls about it, and we did hit second base. What can I do to make this guy see that he lost out on a real one? Wow, Magsy. My mind is, my brain is fried right now. I want this to come across very clear and concise. It's going to feel mean though. You are asking me to get your power back from someone who doesn't give a damn about you, doesn't care about you in the slightest. That is a complete and utter waste of your time. You do not get power back from someone who never cared about you in the first place. You do not get someone to regret losing you when they didn't care about you in the first place. You need to understand when you join the Players Club, you'll begin to understand how people will use different emotional tactics to manipulate you and confuse you. The longer you're in a confused state, the more mistakes you'll make, the more desperate you'll become. Like you mentioned earlier up here, the more energy you continue to put into this relationship as well, and the more investment, the more painful it becomes for you to walk away from this because of the ongoing investment and all the investment from the past. What you need to understand is at a certain point when you actually realize that the person you need to be looking out for more than anyone is you, you need to make the decision eventually, when you do realize that, if you realize that it is time for you to walk away. You cannot force a man who doesn't want you or to be in a relationship with you to want to be in a relationship with you. A man who is coming out of his own mouth and telling you he doesn't want to build a relationship here and he's not ready to build one, and you're continuing to stay, and that's why I said it's going to sound mean, Magsy, that is your fault for staying because you're choosing to waste your own time. Someone is telling you they're not here to build with you. They're telling you they're not equipped to do that emotionally. They're telling you they're not over a situation. They're telling you they have a whole bunch of stress in their life or things going on in their life. And you're continuing to stay thinking that you're doing something nice for him because you're sticking around while he figures his life out. The reality of it is you're only wasting your own life away. And you're going to become very angry and resentful, which your resentment is already growing, because as all the months are passing, you're feeling like you're standing by someone who doesn't even notice you or see you. And you need to recognize that the best thing for you to do, the best thing for you to do if you actually even want him to notice you or care about you, is actually for you to walk away for good. I didn't say for some time. I didn't say for a little bit. Is for you to walk away for good. Because he's in a place where he cannot appreciate you at all when you're there. And the reality of it is he'll only ever appreciate anything you did for him when you're gone. And the even deeper reality of it is he probably will only appreciate you for being there while he was getting over his ex. Because I really and truthfully don't feel like in any capacity he is emotionally over his ex partner. And he's using you as a placeholder. But he wants to keep you in a confused state long enough that he doesn't actually have to address the fact that you're so confused and have gotten no answers. If you're scraping to the bare minimum and asking you if he likes you, just so you can literally, like you said, get the bare minimum of validation from him, you're so far gone that there's nothing left for you in the relationship. So I know you want a clear, concise instruction and way forward. My instruction and way forward for you is to block him on every place you could possibly contact him. For you and him, so he can't message you and waste your time anymore, and you won't be tempted to jump back onto the hamster wheel, because that's what you're on right now. You're on a hamster wheel where all of your time and energy is being spent with a guy who is not trying to build with you. You're sad, you're upset, you're wasting more time, but as you waste more time, you become more sad and upset that you've been wasting more time. So you go back to him hoping that things will change, but they never change. And you're on a constant hamster wheel at this point. And you're asking me what you can do to change your situation. The only thing you can do is control the controllables, as I say. And the controllables in this situation is your decision to waste your time on a guy who is telling you he doesn't want to be in a relationship with you. Stop wasting your own time. He will waste your time for as long as he possibly can if you allow him to. Don't allow him to. Okay, next here we have, let's scroll down here a little bit. No, that one was a long one. Next we have here, oh, this is a deleted message. Yeah, delete it. Okay, next we have here Yala, or it says deleted user. That was deleted user. So it's not a deleted message. Oh no, this one got sent into, this was the Cybertruck girl. Yeah, that was Cybertruck girl. She deleted her user. Yala says, should I remove him from my life? Here's the situation. I'm 24 and I met a guy who approached me. I was in the process of breaking up with my boyfriend. He intentionally became a sneaky link, but after some time started love bombing me. I began flying back and forth to him since we live in different states. Oh, I think we did this one. Yeah, we did this one, and you sent this into... Yeah, you sent this into, I think, the Relationship Advice Premium. Sorry, guys. I remember that one. Okay, let's go on to the next one here. Right? Someone said Cybertruck Girl was tough. Yeah, well, that was a tough one. Let's see. Floricia. So Floricia says, I don't know if I should detach completely at this point. Floricia says, hello, I'm 29. He is 28. I've been dating him for over a month. We had a rocky road as I tend to pull away when I start getting feelings. He's been super sweet at the beginning until I started an argument over how fast or actually slow he replied to my text in that day. After that argument, he ghosted me for a few days and it hurt me a lot. I admit it was my fault completely, but since then, he's been avoiding me. He came back twice in the week. If I stop texting him, he reacts immediately and gets very anxious. The problem is I can feel now he wants to be the one in control from our interactions. He still plays hot and cold based on how much attention I give him. He knows I'm into him too much, so he isn't taking me seriously anymore. We barely see each other, and when we do, he doesn't even try to get close to me and make it up. We hang out like friends almost. We got good vibes together, and we get along pretty good. We can talk about anything for hours. The problem is, after the last date 2 days ago, he started acting weird. He got offended by the fact I didn't answer his text on WhatsApp in 40 minutes. Okay. But I saw I was online on Facebook. Today he called me as soon as he left work, saying how upset he is that I didn't text all day. Honestly, I don't want to because he was rude, with me earlier over WhatsApp, the WhatsApp/Facebook thing. He is quite cold now. After that, he went silent, and now I don't know how I can make this work. My question is, should I apply more pressure on him? That is 100% of the time never the answer. As women, let me let you guys in on this secret. As women, 100% never the answer to apply more pressure to a man. Never the answer. And keep him at bay or for a while until he figures out how he should act with me, or is it maybe too much or too late, or should I just block him? Floricia, thank you for your message here. So here's the thing. I don't know how long you have been talking to him before you started dating him, but it's only been a month. And at the beginning of relationships, you're going to spend a lot of time learning and understanding how someone operates. And especially in the early stages of meeting them, understanding, if the way they operate even works for you. One thing I will say for a relationship, you're meant to be with a man that is more like this, stable, right? It's not that he can't have emotions and he can't feel things, but he's not meant to be on this emotional roller coaster, really up one day and really down one day. Why? Because you're a woman and you're supposed to be able to have that space to be a little bit more of an emotional roller coaster. And you need someone to balance you out that's a little bit more consistent and coasting. I say that to say, if your man is the one on that emotional roller coaster, as strange as this sounds, you're never going to have a space to be a woman and feel your emotions. You're always going to feel like anytime something bothers you or anytime something needs to be addressed, that he is already having his own mental breakdown and you need to console him before you even get to address your issue or acknowledge your issue. And the problem with the man who's always up and down like this is every time he has an issue and every time he's hysterical about it and he can't think about anything else but his issue, you never get the opportunity to address any of your issues. So your issues pile up and pile up and pile up. And because you don't have a man who's like this and you have a man who's like this, you end up being more like his mom rather than his partner. Okay, it's not good. And so Floricia, I think for the reasons that you mentioned in your message, I just don't think that this is a sustainable relationship as it stands right now, where because you mentioned that he replied slow to your text all day, right? You started an argument over how fast our texts are actually. Oh, sorry. Actually, this was never you, right? He ghosted you for a few days. He's always basically had a problem with how fast you text him and you living your life. It's not good. And if I were to advise you here, I think you need to take a step back from that guy. And unless he makes some sort of drastic change, 180, which is very unlikely, I just don't think that the way that he is very sustainable for a relationship. Because someone who gets upset at you because you don't message him on WhatsApp for 40 minutes, like, yo, we gotta have there needs to be a serious talk here about individuality, because if you're not allowed to have enough individuality that you can go to work and not message him every out, you know what I mean? You can't do anything in your life. And if you're not messaging him for 40 minutes, then, he's getting upset and he's losing his marbles. You're that's only going to get way worse as time goes on. And I don't know if I've seen someone say it in the chat, right? It's like he's entitled to your time, but not just in a little bit. He feels entitled to you all the time, that you shouldn't do anything for yourself outside of communicating and talking to him, or nothing in your life should be more important than talking to him. That is very unsustainable and not something that you're meant to fix for him. And you definitely shouldn't be applying pressure for him. So I think you really need to take several steps back and reevaluate this relationship. And my own personal opinion, I don't think that that's sustainable. So I would advise you to just kind of let this relationship die out, because I just don't foresee a possible way where he gets mad at you when you don't message him in 40 minutes on WhatsApp, how that could possibly turn into a healthy relationship. Because like I said, as time goes on, he's only going to feel more entitled to your time and feel less like you should be able to do anything with your time outside of talk to him. Not good. Next we have here, let's see. We'll do like one more. We have here sauna. Okay, sauna's long. Oh wow, saunas is really long. Okay, let's see. Let me see if this is too long. I might have to table this one if it's really long. Okay, saunas is really long, so I'll table it for another day. Don't worry, guys. We will definitely get to it, but it's already 6:30, and I don't want to go too over here. Don't worry, sauna. Tomorrow we are gonna get to yours. We're gonna address yours. We're gonna have a long conversation about yours because your message is really, really long. Okay, don't you worry. Okay, we're gonna get to yours, sauna. Where'd it go here? Sauna. Let me save this. Let me save this so I don't. If I don't remember, guys, please spam it tomorrow because I gotta remember to do saunas. Let me put a rose here. Follow this. Do a rose. Okay, perfect. I'm gonna do saunas tomorrow. Okay, I'm gonna do saunas tomorrow. It's really long. So for those of you guys who want to send in your question, I know I didn't get a chance to do a lot today because I was late today. Someone says, Rosie says, I think it's even a little bit too long for me. Yeah, we'll start when we're fresh in the chat tomorrow, okay? So for those of you guys who have a question for me and you want to skip the line tomorrow, don't fret. You can go over to the link in my bio. You go into the VIP premium question advice section. You click that and you're able to get access to relationship advice premium, or you can do relationship advice regular. And for those of you who want to send me a personal one, just go over the link in the bio on TikTok or the link in the pinned comment on YouTube, and you'll be able to find the option to get private relationship advice from me as well. All right, you just got to fill out a little bit of a form. And for those of you who want to follow me on Instagram, my Instagram, and see everything I'm doing on a regular basis, my Instagram is right above my head on the top left corner of the screen there, and right on the bottom right. You can follow me on Instagram, see everything I'm doing at all times of the day. You should do that. Okay, it's lots of fun. Also, let me acknowledge, sorry about that. I hope you're still in the chat here. Let me acknowledge one of our donations in the YouTube chat, $5 donation by Jay. Jay said, is there a word limit for premium submissions? Is 2.5K words okay? I would love for you guys to keep it under 1,000 words, not because I don't want detail. I love detail, JJ, and everyone else in the chat, but please try to keep it 1,000 words or less, because over 1,000 words, I've noticed that sometimes you guys begin just like dumping and rambling, and you add a lot of points that aren't necessarily relevant to your question. You know what I mean? So just try the same way you would, edit something down in an essay, write it out first and then try to trim down the fat of like the things that are a little bit more unnecessary. So try to keep it 1,000 words or less. It's good for the show. It's easier to read and easier to absorb when, we get the statement and then we get the question instead of getting a whole life story type of thing. And then by the time the question comes, we forget what it was even about in the first place, right? So just keep that in mind. All right, guys? For the rest of you guys on TikTok, my YouTube page is right above my head. It's just my name, Tomisin Atobatele. You type it in on YouTube and you'll be able to find all of my previous live streams in case you came late here, or you have or you had another commitment and you got to leave early or whatever it may be. You just want to rewatch all the points. It's all available on my YouTube page. Go on there, but make sure you go into the live section because that's where the whole live stream will live, and you'll be able to rewind it and rewatch it as many times as you want to rewatch it. All right. I'm here every Monday to Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you want to figure out what time that is in your time zone, please use Google. Okay. So until we meet again tomorrow on Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, I bid you a good day. Goodbye for now. Hasta la vista. Adios. Sayonara. Arrivederci. Bon voyage. And I will see you again tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I love you so much. So much. Ciao. So ciao. I should add that one. That's a good one. I'll add ciao. I'll add ciao to my